Every headline you have read about Chinese cars uses the same word: electric. The Chinese cars actually taking market share have a fuel filler cap, a 1.6-liter turbo making 145 kilowatts and 290 newton meters through a 7-speed dual clutch, 1,030 kilowatts out of a petrol engine, and 3 motors. 622,590 sales in 1 year from a brand you cannot name. 1,344,020 vehicles shipped out of the country by one company. In South Africa, the best-selling Chinese car is a manual. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which Chinese cars are winning and what they run on. Making these videos takes a lot of time, so if you're finding this interesting, hit subscribe, because the export figures get stranger from here. Why the headline is not wrong. Start with the part everyone gets right, because it is real. Inside China, in June 2026, 62.8% of new passenger cars sold were new energy vehicles, either battery electric or plug-in hybrid. That share climbed 9.5 percentage points in 12 months. Nearly 2 in every 3 cars leaving a Chinese showroom now has a socket on it. So the headline has a foundation, and the brands standing on it are the ones the West can already name: BYD, Tesla's Shanghai plant, Xiaomi. But a car sold in Shanghai and a car loaded onto a ship in Shanghai are not the same product. Those two markets buy different things, and the growth went to the ships. The biggest exporter is a petrol company. Chery Group sold 2.8 million vehicles worldwide in 2025. New energy vehicles accounted for 903,847 of them. The remaining 1,902,546 ran on petrol. Chery exported 1.34 million of that total, up 17.4% on the year before. Averaged across the calendar, that is one Chery leaving the country every 23 seconds, day and night, for a full year. Less time than a kettle takes to boil. For scale, Ford's entire Australian operation sold 9,181 vehicles in the month of June. Chery ships that many out of China in about 2.5 days. Chery says that makes it the largest passenger vehicle exporter in the country for the 23rd year running. And Chery does not sell under one badge. The same corporation sells as Chery, as Omoda, as Jaecoo, and as Jaecoo, with Lepus arriving now, and Freelander and Accord due from 2027. It is the supermarket-owned brand trick applied to cars. One factory group, 6 labels, 6 shelves, 6 price points. Jaecoo on its own sold 622,590 vehicles globally in 2025, up 9.5%, a company record, across more than 100 markets through more than 2,000 outlets. Most Western buyers have never seen that name written down. So what is actually inside one of these cars? One car, 3 badges. Take the Jaecoo J7, a midsize SUV. The same vehicle is also sold as the Chery Fullwind T6, and again as the Chery Tiggo 7 High Energy. One car, 3 nameplates, 3 showrooms. It is the same jacket hanging on 3 different racks with 3 different price tags. The Petrol J7 runs a 1.6-liter turbocharged engine making 145 kilowatts, which is 194 horsepower, and 290 newton meters of torque through a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. There is no battery pack in it and nothing to plug in. Below it sits the Jaecoo J5 from $25,990 drive away in Australia in petrol form, pointed at the Mazda CX-3 and the Hyundai Kona. The brands doing this are Chery, Jaecoo, Jaecoo, Geely, Great Wall Motor, Omoda, Dongfeng, and SAIC. SAIC is the one that sells as MG. It moved 1.071 million vehicles overseas in 2025 out of 4.507 million total. Then there is South Africa, where Chinese brands took more than 19% of new passenger and light commercial sales in the first quarter of 2026, on volumes up 75% in a year. The 3 best-selling Chinese models in that quarter were all versions of the Chery Tiggo 4 Pro, and the strongest single seller of them was the 1.5-liter petrol manual. A manual gearbox, the kind a driving instructor hands you, sitting on top of the Chinese sales table, in a market where consumer preference for hybrids has just climbed to 39%. Now go up a segment and look at who is losing. Toyota's own game. Toyota is the company that made hybrids mainstream, and in Australia, its RAV4 range is hybrid only now, priced from $45,990 up to $66,430 before on-road costs. Great Wall Motor, which sells as GWM, aims the Haval H6 straight at it in 8 separate configurations: 2 petrol, 3 self-charging hybrids, 3 plug-in hybrids. 6 of the 8 are electrified, against a single hybrid powertrain in the RAV4. The Petrol H6 starts at $35,990 drive away, and the hybrid at $37,990 drive away, and drive away means the registration and the stamp duty are already inside that number. Toyota's $45,990 is before you pay any of that. Wheels Magazine handed the H6 its Value Award in the 2025 Best Medium SUV judging. It is working. GWM grew 20.5% across the first half of 2026 in Australia and sold 6,104 vehicles in June, the best month it has ever had in the country. And Chery has a 7-seater sitting above all of it. The Jaecoo J8 SHS pairs a 1.5-liter turbocharged petrol engine with 3 electric motors for a combined 315 kilowatts and 580 newton meters. It carries 169 kilometers of electric-only range and more than 1,000 kilometers of total range from a 70-liter tank, which is Sydney to Brisbane, with fuel still in it. $59,990 before on-road costs, aimed at the Toyota Kluger. The strangest example in the whole story is not a petrol brand at all, the electric brand that built a petrol flagship. Zeekr is Geely's premium brand, and electric was the entire premise of it. Its flagship, the Zeekr 9X, has a 2.0-liter turbocharged petrol engine in it. That engine makes 205 kilowatts on its own. Add 3 electric motors and the 9X produces 1,030 kilowatts, which is 1,381 horsepower, and covers 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.1 seconds. The 70 kilowatt-hour battery carries it 380 kilometers before the petrol engine has to do anything, and the 900-volt system refills that pack from 20 to 80% in 9 minutes. Shorter than the queue at a service station on a long weekend. It is 5,239 millimeters long, and Zeekr has pointed it at the Range Rover. An electric-only brand launched its most expensive car with a fuel tank in it, which brings the whole argument down to one figure: the number on the manifest. In June 2026, 1,037,000 vehicles left China for export. That is the first month in history the figure has passed 1 million, and it was up 75.1% on the same month a year earlier. 523,000 of them were new energy vehicles. Just over half. That is the number the headlines used. Now split that half. 309,000 were pure battery electric. 214,000 were plug-in hybrids, which means a petrol engine and a fuel tank. The other 514,000 were straight combustion. So of every 10 vehicles China exported in June, 3 were pure electric. The other 7 had a fuel filler cap. Picture a car transporter climbing the ramp onto a ship in Shanghai. 10 cars on the deck, 3 of them electric. Across the first 6 months of 2026, the pattern holds. 5,096,000 vehicles exported, 2,355,000 new energy, 2,741,000 of them with nothing to plug in at all. Before you decide what that means, there is a problem sitting inside it. The part the ADS leave out. There is a second set of losers in this story, and they are Chinese too. In Australia, the Chery Tiggo 4 sells from $23,990 drive away. The Jaecoo J5 sells from $25,990 drive away. Same size class, same buyer, same corporate parent, $2,000 apart. Chery Group has put 2 of its own shops on the same street. Roy Munoz, Omoda Jaecoo's Australian Chief Commercial Officer, said it on the record. There will always be competition, he told Cars Guide. We cannot win them all. They cannot win them all, but together we can win a big share of the market. That is a deliberate strategy, and it carries a cost, and the cost lands on the dealer who has to sell against his own parent company. La Paz is arriving now. Freelander and iCore land from 2027. Jaecoo runs on a separate management team inside the same group. Every one of them is chasing the same $25,000 SUV buyer. The point is not that China gave up on electric cars. The point is that the fleet taking shelf space in market after market right now burns petrol, and the coverage has not caught up to it. Mexico is the clearest case. Chinese brands took 11.2% of the Mexican new car market in the first quarter of 2026, drawing level with the German brands for the first time. MG led them on 14,504 sales, ahead of Geely on 10,782, and JAC on 5,760. Count every car built in China, regardless of badge, and 28% of new cars sold in Mexico between January and May came out of a Chinese factory, up from 18.9% a year earlier. None of that growth needed a charging network because the petrol stations were already built. And the direction is set. Plug-in hybrid exports out of China grew 90% year-on-year in June, faster than pure electric exports did. The fastest growing thing on those ships is a petrol engine with a battery attached to it. Here's the question I want to leave you with. Which Chinese brand is actually on sale where you live? Name it in the comments and tell me whether the one your neighbors are buying plugs in or fills up.